They say memory is a sanctuary, but for Elias it had become a prison, a cage built from the remnants of a love that refused to fade. Before the shadows there was only light. Clara was the sun, and Elias, he was just happy to be in her orbit. It was a love so pure, it seemed protected by some divine hand, but fate has a way of striking when the heart is most open. They were building a world together, one brick, one coat of paint, one shared dream at a time. They thought they had forever. In the quiet moments, they found a peace that few ever know, a connection that transcended words, etched into the very air they breathed. A single moment of distraction, a lifetime of regret. The world didn't end with a bang, but with the sound of breaking glass. Grief is a heavy cloak. It settles in the marrow, cold and unyielding, and Elias wore it every single day. Then the echoes began, faint at first. A shadow in the corner of his eye, a whisper that sounded like his name. Time itself seemed to rebel. The house became a museum of their final moment, and the shadows, they were growing restless. But this wasn't a comfort. It was a haunting. Whatever was left of Clara was no longer her. It was something twisted, something hungry. Desperate, he sought answers in the places people fear to go. He found that Clara hadn't just died, her soul had been intercepted. He followed the trail of forbidden lore to a place forgotten by God. To save her, he had to retrieve a relic older than the grief itself. The medium told him the truth. A shadow entity had used her final moment of terror to tether her to this plane. The entity was a master of disguise, feeding on his longing. It wore her face like a mask, hiding the rot beneath. The entity didn't like being discovered. The house became a battlefield of the supernatural, a cage of nightmares. He had to run, not for his life, but for hers. The ritual was his only chance to set her free. By the blood and the bone, by the love I have known, I call upon the void to release what it has stolen. The entity fought back. It wasn't just a spirit, it was a parasite. It wouldn't let go of its prize without a fight. It tried to consume him, to drown his will in a sea of despair. But his love was a lighthouse in the storm, unyielding and bright. Pain was nothing compared to the thought of her suffering in that darkness. He pushed through, his heart a shield. For a heartbeat, he saw her, truly her, and it nearly broke his resolve. How could he banish the woman he loved? With a final cry of agony and love, he finished it. The tether snapped, the darkness was purged. She was free. The weight lifted from her soul, and for the first time in years, the room felt warm. But freedom meant leaving. She belonged to the light now, a place where he could not follow. Not yet. In the silence, he found her final gift, a plea for him to keep going, to find the light again. Her love was his compass. The house was quiet again, no whispers, no shadows, just the sound of the wind in the trees. He began to reclaim his life, not by forgetting, but by honoring. Every box opened was a step out of the shadows. Spring followed winter, and the world kept turning. He visited her often, sharing his stories with the silent stones and the whispering grass. Love never dies, it just changes shape. And Elias finally knew that she would always be with him, just beyond the veil. She was gone, but she was never truly lost. In the echoes of his heart, she would live forever.